Yeah, and unfortunately, like there was like a cave-in, and there was, it was a really sad thing, and a lot of families and children were even involved, and we're going to be keeping us up to date on that, and we really appreciate you covering that story. So, anyways, in other news, look at this little puppy that is going on, and he can water ski barefoot.
Wow.
You know what? That makes it all better.
Oh, thank God.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the Confused Breakfast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
I do.
It's hard to beat the ease of the modern era in streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch. But there was something truly special about heading to Blockbuster, picking out a movie by hand, taking it home to watch after tonight's episode of TJ Laser on Channel 4. Woo! On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. I'm your host, Mike Schulte. Joining me, as always, two dudes whose prime directives are serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law. Sean Pryor and AJ Vance, how the heck are you?
You bet.
I've also got a fourth one that I'll tell you about later.
I'll
keep it a secret for now.
Directive 4?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I got a secret fourth directive.
What is that? Ask us how our week's been?
Yeah. Let you guys know how mine's been.
Chairs, sponsor us.
Chairs.
Yes. Yeah.
Chairs. Shout out to Chairs.
Well, boys, on today's episode, we discuss a movie nominated for 3 Oscars. The original movie that spawned 2 sequels, a remake, a TV series, 2 animated TV series, a miniseries, and video games merchandise galore. A movie that taught us all at a young age that doing coke off the tits of a prostitute was peak of adulthood, and it would happen to all of us at some point. We're, of course, talking about 1987's RoboCop.
Yes.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with the Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
God, it means the world to have you. Thank you for joining us. If you're new to the podcast, we're going to tell you what's going to happen. We're going to review RoboCop with a modern eye, scene by scene.
That's me.
But in order to do that properly, we got to talk about it with pure MF and nostalgia. Sean, we'll start with you, man. Tell us about your childhood, your first viewing of this, what your rating was as a kid.
I love my parents, but I don't know what they were thinking showing me this movie at like 4 years old.
Jesus.
Jesus.
I'll keep that in mind.
And I don't know what companies were thinking, like Hasbro or Keller were thinking of releasing toys of these movies when I was a kid. I watched it. I absolutely fell in love with it. I got the toys. These toys are from my childhood right up front here.
You can see that on our YouTube.
Yeah, you see that there.
Check it out.
I loved it so much, and I was obsessed with it. And then just, as I grew older and got into Scorsese and Spielberg and all those movies, I just kind of I had watched this movie since I was 4 years old, like literally.
Okay.
Like maybe 10. Maybe I'd watched it again. But back then I loved it. It was a 10.
10 straight up. AJ, what about you, man?
It took a long time for me to actually really understand what RoboCop was, other than an action figure. To be completely honest, I didn't see it when I was super young, and I think I finally ended up seeing it when it was. It was like an edited version on AMC or something like that. But it was definitely like a TV cut, and I don't know how you get away with cutting up this movie. And so shortly thereafter, we definitely. I think I again just stumbled in on watching the movie and watching most of the parts. Right, that was it. I've seen enough of the movie, and gotten enough of the gist of it to be able to say, I wasn't looking for this movie, guys. When I saw it, I was never looking for RoboCop. I just thought he looked cool.
Duh.
And that was it. And so at no point was I ever out there. oh man, RoboCop. Like, I gotta have more RoboCop again. And I would say, I would probably have to give this like, I'll give it a 5.1.
Okay.
5.1 for the age. For me, I think the first time I saw this, I think it might have been like maybe some cousins. Somebody put it in. I was young. This movie scared the absolute shit out of me. Yeah. The idea of like of everything that happens to Murphy in this and the gore that happened in this and the frightening future that is coming down the line. I did not like this movie. I was too young to see it. And in fact, I had like an alternate movie that I liked more. It was called Knight Rider 2000. Okay. It was a TV movie. Has anybody seen that?
No.
It's terrible.
Okay.
But it kind of had the same theme of like bad cops and good cops, and your memory can get stored and they can restore it and put you in a different body kind of a thing. Oh. I liked that movie because it wasn't as scary as RoboCop. RoboCop scared me as a kid. My first viewing, I'm going to give it a 4.5, kids.
Dang.
Yeah.
And we do have an executive producer today. We got Michael Guiliano with us. Woo! He says, sad to say this is one of the many egregious gaps in my movie viewing history. The 80s in general seem to be a weak point for me. I'm actually on the same, as you notice, a lot of these 80s movies I missed because it's like you were too young when it happened, right? Maybe the same for Michael. I've seen the movie referenced everywhere in TV shows and caught people talking about it in real life, but never actually took the time to sit down and watch it. It doesn't seem like the type of movie my parents would have gone out of their way to show us either. Nobody's really big into action or sci-fi like this seems to be, so I guess I'll just have to work on my own. For me, this is an NA. So if you tattle us all up, that is a 6.53. Not great. Nostalgically, that's going to take us to number 83 of all the movies we've done. That is right below Lost Boys, right above Speed is how we feel about that nostalgically.
Wow.
All right.
And again, it doesn't matter. We're moving on. We're stripping away the nostalgia. It is time for the modern day review. But we're going to start with Sean. He's going to get all the important details of the movie. What do you got, man?
Produced by Arnie Schmidt, John Davison, and Edward Neumeier. Written by Edward Neumeier and Michael Miner. Cinematography by Joost Vacano or Joost, and uncredited Saul Negrin. Edited by Frank J. Uroste. Music by Basil Polidorus. I'm not sure if he's related to Squints.
Definitely.
Directed by Paul Verhoeven. Cast: Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Dan O'Hurley, Ronnie Cox, Kurtwood Smith, Robert DeQuay, Ray Wise, Felton Perry, Paul McCrane, Jesse Goins, Del Zamora, and Miguel Ferreira. Writer Edward Neumeier was working at Warner Brothers at the time when Blade Runner was being filmed literally right behind his office. Neumeier made his way onto set and shadowed the filmmakers to learn about filmmaking. There, Neumeier, a fan of science fiction movies, already came up with the idea of RoboCop. Neumeier then met Michael Miner, who has expressed similar interests in film, and the pair conceived the original idea together. The writers wanted a strong satirical element to the film, emphasizing the corporate mentality of Hollywood and the bureaucracy that was taking hold of Reagan's America. One day, while in a boardroom meeting, Neumeier daydreamed of an ED-209 robot bursting in and blasting everyone in the office. Who hasn't? You know,
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Come on, it's the 80s.
Once the script was completed, Neumeier and Miner sent it off to various studio executives, catching the eye of Orion Pictures and that of John Davison, who also did Airplane, who was attracted to the satirical elements presented in the film. After offering the directing job to David Cronenberg, Alex Cox, and Monty Hellman, the producers eventually offered the gig to Paul Verhoeven. Verhoeven did not like the script at all and threw it in the trash after reading like 2 pages. Until one day, Mrs. Verhoeven dug the story out and said that Paul would be perfect fit for the film. Rutger Hauer, Tom Berenger, Michael Ironside, Armand Assante, Keith Carradine, James Remar, and Arnold Schwarzenegger were all considered for the role of Alex Murphy. Most actors turned the part down due to the requirement of having their face covered up most of the movie. Considering Arnie's size, it was decided that the actor would look way too bulky in the costume. I mean, they compared him to like the Michelin Man, pretty much. Peter Weller was the only one who wanted to be in the film, and Verhoeven agreed as he, quote, liked his chin.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Principal photography began on August 6th. That's my birthday, 1986, and shot. I said shit and shit mostly in Dallas, Texas, with some additional scenes filmed in Las Colinas and Pittsburgh. Dallas was chosen instead of Houston because of the unique architecture and simply, well, they could blow shit up there. With complications of the RoboCop suit, Weller and Verhoeven did not get along at first, and Weller was almost recast with Lance Henriksen as a backup. After differences were set aside, production got back on track. Dallas averaged a temperature of 90 degrees that summer, which made Weller sweat profusely in the suit, which caused him to lose 3 pounds a day.
Yikes.
He was a marathon runner as well, and so he kind of considered it like just water weight getting melted off his body because he was going to do like a New York marathon or something like that coming up.
Okay.
RoboCop was released on July 17th, 1987, and on a budget of $14.7 million, the film made $53.4 million at the box office. Was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, including Best Editing and Best Sound. It did win a Special Achievement Oscar for Outstanding Sound Effects Editing and spawned 2 sequels, a television show, a kids' animated series, and several video games, including one that just came out, and I'm investing in a new Xbox just so I can play this game.
Heck yeah.
It looks so badass.
Okay.
Hell
Maybe
yeah.
I will too. Maybe we'll have a gaming night.
Maybe we will.
Let's do that.
All right. Well, thanks, Sean. Up next, we got AJ. He does the research for us, gives us all the ratings, reviews from critics and fans alike. What do you got, bro?
Come quietly, or there will be the tomato meter.
Yeah.
Gross.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. 92% certified fresh.
Of all the movies we have done, listen to this company. That is tied with Shaun of the Dead, Rocky, and Jurassic Park,
Wow.
per the critics.
Pretty decent company, huh?
Tomato meter tastes like baby food.
Yes, it does.
84% from the audiences, and our esteemed IMDb is giving it a 7.6.
Ooh.
That slides it into 44th place of all the movies we've done, tied with Dazed and Confused, Lethal Weapon, American Psycho, and Duel,
Wow.
per the fans.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
It just always boggles my mind, the IMDb thing. What's an 8? What's even an 8?
No, we don't know. We haven't gotten there yet.
I know. Maybe in 2024 we'll discover it, but, well, I don't know.
Not yet.
Starting at the top, The Guardian gave this 100 out of 100. They gave it a full pie. Peter Bradshaw was jazzed about this. He said, RoboCop looks more than ever like Verhoeven's masterpiece, a classic of 80s Hollywood, and apart from everything else, a brilliant commentary on the city of Detroit. High-tech RoboCop is a harbinger of the decline of the automotive industry and the ruin porn wasteland to come.
Whoa.
Yeah. He's not cutting up any words here, okay?
I'm kinda into
It's kind of turned me on.
Ruin porn?
Ruin porn wasteland.
What could that be?
I think he's talking about that. Robone Cop. Damn it.
Oh.
Sorry, guys.
Peter.
Peter. Oh,
RoboCop.
Robone Cock. Oh, this is a different movie. I'm sorry, guys.
It's out there. We will look it up.
Oh.
Mike's doing it right now.
Looking it up right now.
I love that we just get deeper and deeper into a terrible rabbit hole for Mike's search history.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely. RoboCop is a fast-paced shooter inspired by devil daggers. I don't even know what that means.
Devil daggers. Let's see. While you find that, 80 out of 100, Washington Post. With its droll underpinnings, RoboCop does for cyborgs in Detroit what Blade Runner did for androids and L.A.
Ooh.
I'll leave you just one. There is a RoboCop from 2012, 2 hours and 10 minutes, and the tagline is "The fucking machine."
Whoa.
We're just going to
2
leave it
hours
at
and
that.
10 minutes. Did Netflix produce that?
I don't know. Yes, I think they did.
Shout out Netflix.
Shout out Netflix.
Send us more shit.
This next one's pretty important, guys. And don't worry, it sounds like it's gonna be funny. It's not. I needed a mid-range review, so this is a 60 out of 100 from Christian Science Monitor. The action is skillfully directed by Dutch filmmaker Paul Verhoeven, and there are many bursts of razor-sharp social satire, but the story amounts to a celebration of brute force in a crudely etched Law and Order context.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Christian Science Monitor.
Thank
Love
you
it.
so much.
We need to make sure there's some Christian input on this science fiction. Thank you. We're just monitoring from afar.
You guys are doing okay.
Well, it's about time.
We kind of approve.
Yeah. Chicago Reader also said there's a brooding, agonizing quality to the violence that almost seems submersive, as if Verhoeven were both appalled and fascinated by his complicity, yes, in the toxic action rot. Fine, Chicago Reader. Just say you didn't like it. You gave it a 5 out of 10.
It's fine.
It's fine.
The
Stop.
future will prove you wrong.
Stop using like big words.
Complicity.
Or complex words. We don't need it, okay? This is I think I'm going to start here. Okay. No, I'm just going to do 2. I'm
This
just going
can't
to
be good.
I'm just going to do 2. I'm just going to do 2. Shut up.
Okay.
Shut up. Okay. 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. Terrible acting, direction, dialogue, and plot, said Flickerator in 2022. A rating above 5 is incredible for this turkey. For all the metal on display, it's wooden through and through.
Oh,
Got him.
oh.
The direction in particular is awful, with every face shot starting too early and holding too long. So bad that it seems like a self-parody. If you missed it the first time, count yourself lucky.
I could have sworn he was talking about Christmas with the Cranks, but
There's no metal in there.
No.
All right, let's go for this. Let's go for this 8 out of 10. Troy Daniel Bush said, "I mean, what can I say? This is an 8 out of 10."
I hope something. Like,
Is that it?
is this a-
I hope, because you're here to say your thoughts.
what
in a
can I
review.
say?
What can I say?
Yeah,
I don't know. Go on.
Please.
Warning, spoilers. Would I buy it for $1? Too easy. I'd buy it for $100.
Yeah, dude, this is my guy.
Or 80.
yeah.
Think about it. It was an 8 out of 10.
You're right.
That's fun.
See?
It's
good.
fun to think about that.
Is that how the rating system goes? I'd spend $10 for this movie, or I'd spend $1 for this movie.
Yeah.
I'd give that an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. I'd buy that for $1. Yeah. In all seriousness, see what I did there? Anyway, for real this time, what can I say about this movie that hasn't already been said? Get to the point. You're worse than I am at this shit. Oh, how about the time when I first saw it? I was a naive child who had no idea that movies could be so violent. When the ED 2009 blasted that guy to pieces in the boardroom, I descended into trauma.
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew the guy was going to die, but I didn't expect it to be so bloody. And then came the part where Murphy was shot to pieces. When his hand exploded in a fan of blood, I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Is this you?
I wish. He basically pulled it right from my brain. Okay, I'll sing my praises now. Since that's the purpose of these reviews, IMDb allows you to post. A simple but effective and timeless sci-fi classic with over-the-top gore, funny satire, profound themes, entertaining performances, and likable characters. While there are some practical effects that show their age, they are very charming and competently done. And Kurtwood Smith arguably steals the show. Of the 3 movies I've seen by Paul Verhoeven, this is my second favorite, coming in close behind Total Recall.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys.
Right on.
I did have another one here, but it was a 2 out of 10, possibly the most overrated movie of all time. I wanted to make sure that they did say RoboCop is just a big, dumb, overblown action flick. This would have been a perfect vehicle for Steven Seagal.
Oh, wow.
So they also went on to say, if you haven't seen it, don't waste your time.
There it is.
Oh, thank God.
Have
Thank
to.
God.
You'll love this piece of garbage if you left Caro Ret. Never mind.
Are you writing a bad review if you don't watch this movie?
Don't
Yeah.
waste your time.
Well, thanks, AJ. My boys, it's the future. Our town is in chaos. Crime is running rampant, and our police force is about to go on strike. But it's okay, because we got it here. We got it good. We're in a good spot. Every morning, we grease our gross mustache, we jump into our 6000 SUX, and we drive to the TV studio to film our comedy show where we utter our catchphrase.
I'd buy that for $1.
Life's actually pretty great. Hope we can keep it that way. Here we go. So scene 1, crime is at an all-time high. I was on microdose gummies when I wrote that one. So.
Hell yeah, dude.
Love you, microdose. Microdose.com.
Microdose.
Shout out Microdose.
Give us a sponsor.
All right, so scene 1, crime is at an all-time high in a futuristic Detroit. Omni Consumer Products and Clarence Boddicker appears to be to blame. Officer Alex Murphy arrives as a transfer. After learning that the other police officers are considering a strike, he meets his partner, Ann Lewis, and they head out on patrol. At OCP headquarters, Vice President Dick Jones shows off his new droid, the ED-209 series. The demonstration goes wrong and a man is killed by the droid before it can be shut down. The old man isn't happy and greenlights Morton's plan for a RoboCop prototype. Jones is not pleased at being upstaged.
So obviously Verhoeven has a huge problem with media in general. It seems.
Pretty obvious, right? By the commercials and
like when
TV
we
shows.
Starship Troopers and everything.
I was gonna make mention of that. Starship Troopers. It seemed like almost like a reference, like Starship Troopers. Now seeing this again, because obviously I never saw the first probably even 30 minutes of this movie, but to how it even starts out with like this. All these commercials.
It's cool. It like I think it does it in Starship Troopers where it starts out like that too, where it just puts you into this world where it just seems so off and odd,
right? Because
but
things
also
are different.
Like, also very tangible. Like that could be a thing, you know.
It's like an alternate universe almost.
Yeah, and like even the news station is like it's so telling. Like it's so like ahead of its time almost, where they say like, well, you give us 3 minutes, we'll give you the world. Like you can tell world news in 3 minutes. No, you can't.
Exactly. That's a great point, actually. I also was the moment that these commercials started coming on, I was like, oh God, is this? Are we sure we're not watching fucking Super Mario Brothers again? I was like, this is gonna go back to like John Leguizamo switching through channels or some shit. I was
What's funny you say one more sorry,
yeah, no, you're good.
It's funny you say that because Nancy Allen, when she got to set, they were filming those commercials and she was like, oh my God, what the like this director is out of this world incompetent. Like, and then she kind of realized.
Can you
what the
imagine
world
that?
was.
Be like, this is what I signed up for.
what I signed up for. Oh,
well,
God.
So the thing I never got as a child, and it's actually even hard to understand it now, but this is supposed to be set in the future, right?
Yeah,
like,
like 2014, I think, maybe.
Really?
I think is what they said.
Did they actually say it in here?
I read that somewhere and it could not be true. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of interesting to me because first of all, in the book they're saying it was supposed to be 2043 or 2044. There's no indication in the actual set, but in the book there's a thing. I won't read it for you, but they talk about how Sylvester Stallone just died. And he was 97 years old, and his last film, Rambo 38, Old Blood, will be released posthumously next month. It says that in the book.
Oh my gosh!
But what I really like is that even though whatever year this is supposed to be, they don't really like go all out for it. You know how in some 80s movies they're like, here's the future.
Yeah.
And it's never right. Where this is actually like. Yeah, they kind of nailed it.
I guess
they sort of nailed what the future is.
It's like, wow,
by
they really
not doing anything.
Boy, they really pegged Detroit there, didn't they?
Right?
It's like, but like, yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, I do actually really like the introduction of the commercials and just kind of, it's almost easing you in, but not into this movie of just like, look, just get used to this because we're not going to explain anything else to you. Yeah. It's the future. So just
it's
please
fine, move on.
We're not going to talk about this. We just need you to get into this with us.
And
you
like
know?
Literally the movie's called RoboCop.
Yeah.
You
so
know,
I don't
like
think
if
we
you don't
really
know
need
if
much.
you don't know what you're like that is a B movie title to a T. You
Yes,
know?
it is.
Like even the studio was like RoboCop. Really?
Like, yeah.
It's like it's the only one that's gonna work. I think they had some other title too, where it was just so stupid. But RoboCop is just now it's iconic, but you know what you're gonna get, right?
Yeah.
Going into RoboCop, come on.
It's like you have to imagine. It's like, okay, well, I can't imagine they're taking this into the past, into 1950. RoboCop comes back. It's like, no, it's not going to be that. We're going to go into the future, and the dystopian style is like, there's some mild, like I say, spot on to this. That especially thinking back like several years ago, and the way like the news was really talking about just the world, and everything on the news was just negative. Beyond negative, you know what I mean?
Just it's different now.
Well, I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying maybe that's when it started.
Okay,
but I mean, everything was just bad. You know, I guess I don't even want to say the words because it's just like, you know, there's shootings, there's other stuff like going on, and like poverty, and it's all that the news is focusing on. You're just like, I can't watch the news anymore.
Well, and like in these movies too, especially Paul Verhoeven movies, when he's doing this satirization of the news media cycle and everything, all the newscasters are so upbeat about talking about like presidents dying, you know, or like somebody getting shot up. It's like, but in other news, there's this new board game or whatever. You know, it's not necessarily like that today, but it almost is. You get that feeling watching the news today. You know, you get like, no, you guys don't care.
There's no investment. They're reading lines.
They're just reading. They're just reading a teleprompter.
Exactly,
and they don't actually know what they're saying. They're just reading the lines and inflecting their voice.
And I see that all the time. Like I'll turn on the news, and it's like it's not like new. I don't know. I'm sure it's like Peacock's News or something like that, right? And I'll turn it on in the morning, and they will be doing a story where it is literally like. Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, like there was like a cave-in, and there was, you know, it was a really sad thing, and a lot of families and children were even involved, and we're going to be keeping us up to date on that, and we really appreciate you covering that story. So, anyways, in other news, look at this little puppy that is going on, and he can water ski barefoot.
Wow.
You know
what?
That makes it all better.
Oh, thank God.
Dude. I'll tell you what, though, I was kind of blown away with some of the like. There was a lot of oneers, like short, tangible oneers in this intro, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of that when they get to the top floor of the business meeting, like it was actually done really well.
Yeah.
There was one really long one in the cop station, which actually was when they went into the locker room and everybody was naked. And actually was thinking that this oneer was about 40 seconds long, and there was two naked dudes in the shower. You can see their butts. I kept thinking of how many times they did this take and how long they just had to stand there.
How long they had to stand there.
Reset. I'm in the same spot.
We're good.
Reset.
We're good.
Hey, wash all the soap off your ass. You're gonna have to re-soap your ass.
I wasn't there before. Hey, can we actually get this water a little bit warmer?
Yeah.
We're fucking dying over here, Paul.
Hey, I'm sorry. We do not have the budget for that right now.
We talk about being like that C-roll actor in the movie. Like I want to be able to be like, yeah, that's left guy, left naked guy in the shower. That's me.
That's
all
me.
right, we're casting butts today. So who are we looking at? It's like a murderer's row, or like usual suspects lineup. Okay, ass number 2 and ass number 4. We're good. Go ahead.
We're gonna
the rest
take
of you.
Yep.
You can go on home.
Good job.
Great.
Good job having asses.
Dude, there's even some weird. You don't notice it as a kid. There's a line when they're in the boardroom. The main, well, they just call him the old man.
Yeah.
There's this weird cut shot where he's like itching his nose. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
It just cuts to him and he's sitting in the chair just going like this with his nose, and then it cuts back.
Yeah.
It's just a weird choice, some of these things that got left in this movie, but like it works for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Is that part of the satire maybe, that things are just, it's not your standard just like, this is how the movie goes. It's just, why is there a cut to him itching his nose? I don't
just
know.
like to establish his character, I guess, or he's the head of the table, so he's just kind of not
Not paying attention.
Everyone else is like trying to get his attention,
Yeah.
and he's just like, whatever.
And I think about, it's not your standard type of, introducing comedy into an action movie. It's not the funny one-liner kind of vibe. It's the more subtle aspect of an additional camera shot of just somebody like not paying attention or making fun of the fact it happens a few different times. But yeah, it's like it's to help keep that, even especially leading up to what happens.
Yes.
Leading up to this, it's like it's almost very disarming, and it makes what happens more jarring.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Because everybody's kind of nonchalant about it.
It's kind of almost like relaxing you a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you kind of get to a point where you're like, oh, okay. And you're thinking, up to this point, I'm thinking they're going to shut it down.
Oh, of course they are.
I mean,
We're talking the first 15 minutes of a movie where you're like,
yeah,
oh, okay, like we can't get, it's not going to go too crazy. It's not going to go like nuts right now, right? This scene still affects me in like no, stop. Like, why are you still this fucking ED 209?
Yeah.
And by the way, like the effects are still really good.
They hold up, man.
How is that possible?
Phil Tippett was, you know, he created the fucking walkers in Empire Strikes Back.
Really?
He did all those animations.
He did all this?
Yeah, Phil Tippett did all the stop motion. It's like, it looks so like charming too. Like all of this would be CGI nowadays. But this is like tangible.
Yes.
Like it just makes it so much better. It makes it like you can get a grasp on what you're seeing. And like when it's not moving, it's obviously just like something they built. But like Jason and the Argonauts, like that was a movie in like early 60s pretty much, and that's like kind of this like Ray Harryhausen was doing that kind of stuff, and it's just like that, and it still holds up. Like even Jason and the Argonauts like is so much better than the CGI.
Yeah. I'm glad it wasn't some sort of, you know, 1980s, you know, digital.
It could have easily been. This could have been. This movie could be complete dog shit.
Yeah. Going
back to watch it if all of that type of stuff didn't hold up.
Well, especially with that in particular, that thing that early in the movie.
It needed to be there.
Yeah. It like there's no way it could be like viewed anymore on TV almost for like new viewers potentially. Without it having like a digital remaster.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, like again, Verhoeven is just ahead of his time because like I see videos like just scrolling through Facebook all the time of just like China has this new robot dog that'll kill you if you do something wrong or something, or like soldier robot things that like, you know, their gun will curve around a corner so you can see it. It's like this is happening.
Yeah.
This isn't far off actually.
And I think that, I mean, like, they were, to me, they're spot on. If they could just do a little more development on the ED 209, there will be no crime.
Yeah.
You see one of those things get out in public and like actually get a bad guy, no one's going to do shit ever. Everyone's going to be a saint.
Thing's just got anti-tank guns on its arms that just blow holes through like everything. Like, are you kidding me? It's just like 6 auto shotgun barrels just like just destroying
it's still, I'm still terrified at what this guy went through.
I know.
The like, oh yeah, sure, I got a gun. Like, save me. Like, dude, it's still terrifying. I hate this scene.
movie.
That guy did not plan on that going into work
No.
that day. He was like, I'm not even on that project.
Well, even grabbing the pistol, he's like, okay.
He's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, cool. I've never held a gun before.
This is fun.
The MPAA, I think they tried 12 times to get an R rating on this, and they wanted to cut
from X.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like coming down to
R. Yeah.
jeez.
For even public consumption. Like that's what that means. It's like you will not get in theaters if you're X. But they tried 12 times, and there was a lot of this scene was what they had a problem with, and obviously
Murphy's scene,
which we'll get to. But like if their TV, the one on YouTube, like I don't think we said it on air yet, but don't watch the one on YouTube. It's free right now.
Do it.
It's so heavily edited, and it takes away totally from the point of this movie, because if it's edited, it is fucking shocking and scary and leaves an impact. But that's not what it's trying to do. It goes to the point where he gets shot, and then he's on like the little
model of the city,
the little model, and it gets shot even more. And it's like, okay, that shot takes it to the point of like heartbreakingly shocking and like tragic to over the top. So fucking funny. I laughed my ass off when I saw this again.
I was sad.
I think that's the point. It is like that is the cut of like from satire to, you know, tragedy. You know, if that guy was just shot and it was like off screen, it would be horrible. But if you see this guy pretty much get cut in fucking half, it's so funny, dude.
And it is. It's like, I mean, we're talking about levels that are up and beyond of like Evil Dead and stuff, or like in that almost same ballpark of just kind of, like you say, obnoxiousness by seeing this happen. And it is. It's like, wow, this goes on for a really long time.
And everybody was kind of scared by it, but then they're like, I mean, if I'm in that boardroom, I'm the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not going to sit back down and be like, well, let's finish our meeting.
it begs
And
the
they
question.
are all like, man, whatever.
It begs the question. How many times have similar incidents happened in this boardroom?
Yeah.
Because all of them are like, oh, God, not again.
The fucking insurance is insane.
Dude,
They
these
got great
people-
bennies, I bet, at that.
These people are so incompetent too. Why do you put actual bullets in the
Yeah,
ED 209 for a demonstration?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Like, come on, dude. It's just,
Well, then someone has the audacity, like when this is all over, it's like a wide shot of the room and that guy's just bleeding all over the place. Someone has the audacity to say, call an ambulance.
Call a paramedic.
He's
fine.
he's
How
gone.
about you call a coroner? Because
Yeah.
that's about all you got.
Good Lord. Well, we got
Jeez.
to talk a little bit about Lewis. Do we like her? Do we like Ann Lewis? Do we like the actress that played her? Do we
I
like
do.
her in this movie?
I do. I like that they wanted her to kind of be like almost androgynous, kind of like one of the guys. And I think even I read that she wore men's underwear just to kind of get into the role, and she cut her hair for this role. I like her as like they didn't want to sexualize her at all. They didn't want any of that to be with Murphy and her.
But I read that and I understand that they just wanted this to just be, you know, it's pretty advanced to say that men and women are showering in the same room, and it's just like, oh, who cares? We work together, and I like that. But I also still catch this vibe that Lewis and like Murphy
I do too.
are flirting and
Yeah,
stuff.
especially when they get into the car or whatever. I think he says, I like to drive when I'm breaking in a new partner. I'm like,
Yeah. You like to be on top when you're fucking
breaking
your new
him in.
partner.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what
cool.
that means for
All
sure.
right. Oh, okay.
But so you got that too. So I'm confused. I'm confused at the idea that they wanted to be like, oh, it's just your partner, but also then like, oh, but they like each other. Like
It almost seemed to me more on the side of, you know, like you're giving your buddy shit.
okay,
You know, or like giving like someone a new person that you just met,
Okay.
kind of, you know, that playful kind, not necessarily flirting, even though that's kind of almost blatantly what it seemed like.
Yeah, it's almost like the equivalent of you know, all right, good game. Smack on the
Yeah.
ass
It's
to your
just-
butt.
it's just
like,
jocular.
you know,
It's just
guys
jocular
being
talk.
dudes.
guys being dudes,
Just-
dudes being bros.
Just dudes being bros hanging out, bros kiss. I mean,
Yeah, you got to practice,
you
man.
got to practice somehow. And
Well, we do got to consult the Jarrett Layoff Confused Breakfast actor database. This one's tough, right? So we've got two people, Deborah Lamb and Scott Thompson, who are actually leading the pack in 3. They've been in 3 apiece, but very like C-level roles in pretty much everything they've
Sure.
been in. I had a hard time being like, who's Deborah Lamb? I couldn't find her. Deborah Lamb was like maybe a dancer in the club later on.
Okay.
Scott Thompson, you know, he was in Kids in the Hall.
oh yeah,
Apparently he was in this too, but I didn't find him anywhere. But if you go down, you obviously have Miguel Ferreira,
Hell yeah.
who's Bob Morton. You know what else he was in? This is his second one.
Blank check.
Blank check.
He's my guy who's Quigley in Blank Check. I just love him as a bad guy. We'll get into it a little bit later, but I wonder if as a kid I thought Bob Morton was like the worst of the worst, but I don't know. He's a bit of a misunderstood guy in this. Like I actually think he is kind of not a decent guy, but he's better than the real bad guys.
it's cool to see him. Like he's got an idea here, and like this one has failed from what's his damn name?
Dick
Dick.
Jones. He steps in. He does.
This one's failed. He's like, okay, well, I think I got an idea. Let's roll with this. And Hurler, he's character, green lights it pretty much, and he's like, okay, let's fucking roll. And then he's talking to his buddy, and he says, that's how it's done, the big leagues, Johnson. I'm like, wait, till someone gets horrifically murdered, and then you step in.
Yeah, no,
that's how it's done.
I honestly think that is truly how it's done.
Okay.
Hey man, you got to take your shot once you see it. All right, literally.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to scene 2. So Lewis and Murphy are out on patrol, engaged in a high-speed shootout with Boddicker and his gang, who have just committed a robbery. They lose the van, but track it to an abandoned steel mill where Lewis is knocked unconscious and Murphy is caught, tortured, and killed. Murphy's body is rushed from the hospital to Morton's lab, where he's converted into a robotic police officer.
I liked in this scene of him and
You did, huh?
right on. Yeah, it's RoboCop.
Robotic.
Robopotic.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's a title.
RoboCop, got it.
RoboCop.
Yes.
Anyway, I liked him and his partner sitting there, like kind of getting to know each other. They're both getting coffee. He's doing the
Which is probably not a thing you're supposed to do.
You know,
you're probably not trained to twirl your gun.
On the second watch, I'm like seeing the public just like walking by. If I saw a cop doing that, I'd be like, no, don't do that,
Sir, sir.
That is against manual number 452 of your
That's right.
police training.
I do like the line where he says every role models can be very important to a boy, and I'm like, you got me at 4 years old. Like I got the goddamn action figures, you know. Like, but also in this movie too, where it's like he's trying to it kind of humanizes him a little bit because we know that he has a son and he likes that show. You know, I like that detail about him. What do you guys think about Peter Weller?
Well, and that's what I was going to actually ask you guys is like I don't get any emotion. I don't feel anything emotional towards him.
So I'm glad you brought this up,
Right?
because if let's play this out, guys. RoboCop wasn't made back then or something. They decide to. I know there was a remake in 2014, but they decide to buy RoboCop. Marvel buys RoboCop. Okay, and this movie, instead of it being 20, what do we get, like 25 minutes of movie before he's dead?
Maybe.
And then the rest of this movie is like an hour and 40 almost. Like it would be reverse.
Correct.
It would be an hour and 40 almost
Character
origin story,
development.
character development of Alex. And you're just like,
Better
okay,
fall in love with this guy. Look how great he is.
and then we would get the origin story done with, and you'd kind of get like a half-assed version of RoboCop, and then you'd actually get 20 minutes in the end of the movie with RoboCop in his actual like cool, awesome suit.
It is a setup just for a sequel.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
And in this, they didn't do that. So as much as I don't have any like emotional attachment, and it's probably a good thing. Because of what we watch him go through.
Well, it doesn't stop me from feeling absolutely,
of course,
just heartbroken at what happens to this guy. But I don't. He's just like he doesn't really say. What does he say? Like 5 lines.
Yeah, he doesn't have many.
And we don't even meet his family. We don't even like know who he is. I mean, he might be a terrible cop. Actually, I'm going to argue that he's a pretty shitty cop.
Yeah.
Like the fact that him and Lewis decide to go into this warehouse to follow 10 armed terrible criminals without backup.
Well, I'm saying too, like don't you have
Yikes.
Don't you have like shotguns in your trunk?
No.
No, nothing, anything like that. Like what's the budget
I know.
going on
Well,
here?
see, here's the thing is also leading up to this, we understand that this is like the most crime-ridden city and cops are dropping like flies.
Yes.
But they feel it necessary to go in there with pistols and hope and just like
2 against 10.
you
We're
go
gonna
that
get
way
it.
and I'll go this way.
And
Let's
split
split up
Definitely.
and not help each other, partner. Like, what?
I'm not a police officer, and anybody out there listening that is like thank you for what you do. Because if I was ever in this situation, I'd be like, that's it for me.
I ain't going.
Hey,
in
we're
there.
waiting for backup.
Yeah.
But I'd like to assume that maybe that's the right call. Hey, we tracked them. We're gonna stake out this location and we're gonna monitor their movements. Let us know when backup's
If
on the way.
something changes, we will update you.
But they're both like, should we? Yeah, sounds good.
I could see it.
let's go. Yeah, high five.
I could see it if they had like a hostage or something like that. Then they probably have to
sure,
go in,
sure, yeah,
but they
yeah.
don't.
They had nothing.
They don't know that, I guess, either.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it does seem like it's a little bit like, and again, you have to argue. I think it's a great argument that like maybe Alex Murphy isn't that great of a cop. Sure, he's like a moral, like he has a decent moral compass, but at the same time, turns out he's really not much of a great cop. He's
twirling his
he's
gun in
getting
public.
transferred from another place that was probably better, and they're like, we're sending you down to the shithole.
Yeah.
And then he's coming out.
You're expendable.
And partner must not be very good either, or at least not very assertive as she likes to front, because he's twirling his gun like a kid with one of those little toy Western kits. And he's like twirling it, and he's not even very good at that. And
he's
like,
practicing. He's trying to get better.
I know.
There you go. I like that.
Well, you'd think he'd do that at the gun range and with an unloaded weapon.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The weight's off. Oh.
Well, didn't they imply that like Lewis's last couple partners have been killed?
Yeah.
So she's putting them in bad situations and they're dying.
Yeah, let's go into the warehouse where the 10 criminals are the worst criminals
of the
in
10.
Detroit.
It's like okay.
That where they know the entire layout of the warehouse and you've never been in there before.
What'd you say happened to your last partners? Oh, they died. Oh, really? What happened? Well, we actually followed these same guys to the same building.
But it's okay. I know the layout now.
I know the
I've
layout.
been in there.
So you go that way.
So let's split
So it's
up.
going to be a good
You
idea
go
if
down
we
the
split
bloody
up.
hallway, and I'll go down the clean one.
I'll go down the one where I know this guy's pissing, and I'll take a look at his cock because I didn't last time.
Yeah, I gotta know what he's packing.
She's like she like straight up like waited.
Yeah.
He's like, you want me to put my piece away? And he's just like, and she's just like,
Dude,
excuse
me while I
looks
whip
down.
this
I
out.
fucking love it because you're watching it and he's like, mind if I zip this up? And you're like, don't. And she's just, and it's right on her face. And she goes, let me see it. Bam! It takes her, it's just like genius filmmaking. They hang on her face for just a little too long. And she finally goes, yeah, I got to see that cock.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hang on. Come on.
At that point, you're not looking. You're like, no, you're not going to zip that up. I'm going to fucking shoot your dick off if you come, like, I'm going to handcuff you right now.
Foreshadowing? I don't know.
Oh, well.
It's like he's gonna put a handcuff on one wrist, and then on the third wrist, it's just like, yeah, don't go anywhere.
Here's one of our 3 handcuff systems.
Yeah. For just such an occasion.
Yeah.
he's like, don't worry, I got my own.
I got
Kurtwood Smith.
Kurtwood
Yeah.
Smith.
What do we think?
It's impossible to see him in anything else now.
Yeah.
Even going back to an early role. By the way, he doesn't look any different.
No.
The man hasn't changed.
What's his big Malcolm in the
That
Middle?
70s show.
Or that 70s show.
Red
yeah,
Foreman in that 70s
yeah,
show.
that's like if you showed a photo of him, that's what most people would be like, oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think one of the reviewers said it. I think
He steals the show.
I think he kind of does
I
in
think
this
he's
movie.
one of the best villains ever in any movie.
He's terrifying.
He's awesome.
I think it certainly adds to the fact that it almost makes it more unassuming. You know what I mean? Like he does not. I think they at one point read his rap sheet, and they like rattle off everything, and it's everything under the sun.
Yeah.
But in the end, he still just looks like this unassuming guy with these glasses, and
Kinda
like,
does.
he just happens to have a gun on him. You know what I mean? It's very strange.
Paul Verhoeven said that once he was cast or he was auditioning for a different role. I think it was O'Hurley's, not the dick guy.
Old man.
Old man, yeah. He doesn't have a name.
I
does
think
he?
he's just the old man.
So I think he was going in for that role, and Paul Verhoeven like saw him in glasses, and Paul Verhoeven's very close to the Holocaust and like the Nazis because he's Dutch filmmaker. I think he saw like his parents get dragged away and shit
really?
like that.
Oh my goodness.
So when he saw Kurtwood Smith in those glasses, like he looks like Heinrich Himmler.
Okay, gotcha.
And so he had to cast him as
He's like, you're the evil villain.
yeah.
Yeah, you're the evil guy.
He does it. I mean, this scene where Murphy's killed, like, still just as much as I felt bad for the random guy in the office, like this is like the worst torture scene I feel like that I've ever seen.
I know.
In a movie, and it still affects me that they're just so nonchalantly taking this guy's life, and then you got him coming up for the final thing, and he's doing the like the radar thing, and he just bam, like none of them care what they just did to this man, and that is terrifying to me.
Yeah,
I hate that.
I know it's very, very unsettling to watch, and somehow. Like I say, somehow it's like I don't know. There's something about it that I would like to see. I haven't seen the 2014 or anything, so I will shut
what
up
I've
about
heard
that
is you
one.
probably
It's
don't
just
have
kind of
to,
okay,
I've
which is sad because I love Joel Kinnaman.
He's great. The cast is really good in that movie. It's just not necessary.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
I think it's
You
probably
didn't need to
good-
do that.
No.
Yeah, but I do think that there are some moments where it certainly adds to the point when if Lewis was able to watch more of this happen almost in a way, like that might be even more jarring, and it's probably good that she didn't get a chance to
we
see it.
had
Yeah.
to,
Because we had to
see
see it all, and then but she's there and she can't get through or do anything about it. You know, that's a hard point that would be really tough. But watching it just happen, and you're just like, whatever. And there's not really much relief around this one, like there was in the first bad one. And again, I feel like that first one was like, okay, but see, it kind of went on kind of long. Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. But then you see this one. Yeah, this was just horrible.
I counted
This is-
52.
yeah, this
I counted
sucks.
52 rounds.
Did you really?
Jesus.
But do you think the ED-209 shot more than 52 rounds?
It's hard to tell.
I really don't know.
Yeah,
52 rounds. I mean, and then I have a couple questions for you. So he's 1,000,000% dead. But what are we talking? Maybe 30, 45, 60 minutes from when he is shot to when like he's getting to the hospital, right? We're assuming that. I swear he like blinks on the table.
Yeah.
When they have him, when the EMTs have him, he like blinks. They show that close up of his eyeball, and they're implying that he's alive because you're seeing the view from him.
Him looking at his family and the memories of that.
Yeah, but he's dead. And so I don't understand what they're implying with that. But then I also don't understand, and maybe you know more of this. Why did they need a dead human being to make RoboCop?
I think it was like a perfect storm with this because I think they wanted a dead cop, obviously, because they wanted a cop,
but he's dead.
Where I guess it could have been anybody. But my thought was that there was, you think you get shot in the head and you die fucking instantly. Some people don't, I mean, like I know he got other limbs and shit blown off, but I don't know. The human body is very is uncharacteristically tough, it seems. In some rare cases where maybe he had like a couple of sparks left in his brain, like maybe it was just kind of the last dying moments and they caught him right then and there, and they have the technology to just kind of preserve him like that. That's what kind of my thinking was.
Right.
I did, and I don't want to inject too much of it like into this review, obviously, but RoboCop 2 just did autoplay. And I was watching when I finished this one on a watch. It just auto played RoboCop 2.
You should watch the second.
And it's like, oh, you're gonna love the second one. I was like, thanks. And so I'm watching RoboCop 2 and just like little pieces of it as I'm like walking around and whatnot. And I do actually see a point where they kind of address this. Where
they
kind of do, and they've got these different models that they've been trying without a human entity.
So they felt there was some need to inject the human brain kind of back into the project.
It's kind of like it needed to have. It's like something to do with like the morality aspect.
Okay.
And there is a morality aspect of, and that's why he's like, well, we don't need the hand. I told you we don't need his hand. Remove the arm or whatever.
Oh, right.
And
they just need like the brain.
We just need like basically what's up here.
And they do kind of imply like that he goes, okay, now that we're greenlit, we need to find some poor sucker to volunteer. So they're almost implying that he didn't need to die. It just needed to be someone to go, yeah, like turn me into a RoboCop.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So
Again,
maybe they
storm,
just
like
saved him slightly right at the end to where like we can save that brain even though he's pronounced dead.
Yeah, and maybe then too, well, I guess a volunteer would be volunteering, but in this case, he's technically dead. They can kind of wipe him off. They can kind of
he died.
Swipe his identity under the rug and be like, now you're RoboCop, not Alex Murphy.
He knows what he signed up for when he did it. It's like, you know what? If this is the end case, consider me saying no to organ donor at this point because I'm not signing up for that, guys.
That's what terrified me about this as a kid is the idea of like me being a robot.
Yeah.
Like it's terrifying to me. I thought it was going to be a bigger problem in my life that somebody would turn me into a robot against my will.
I certainly spent way too much time like when I got my permit on that question about organ donor, and this movie definitely had a part in that. That you're just like, well, it's a nice sentiment. A lot of people do it. It's a nice sentiment. If you're dead, you're like, well, you going to use your organs? That kind of thing. I'm like, yeah.
The guy ahead of you is looking at you like, sign it right
Somebody's
now.
watching me like from the window like he did it. He said yes. He said yes. Go.
Give me them fucking lungs. The knees are gonna be fucked. Give me them lungs.
Like I'm signing my kidney away right then and there. Like, I don't know. It's just like
he signed it. Slice him open.
Slice him.
Yeah, organ donor.
Yeah.
Like, no, when I'm dead, no, you didn't read the fine print. We can take it whenever we want.
See, that was his problem. That was his problem. He said, "It's like he's a cop. We basically our property. He knows what he signed up for.
Idiot,
dummy."
Well, let's move on to scene 3. So several months later, Morton unveils RoboCop to his fellow OCP executives and then transported to the police station to be put into service. On RoboCop's first night out, he stops a convenience store robbery, saves a woman in distress, and prevents a hostage situation from getting out of control. Bob Morton and Dick Jones have an encounter over RoboCop's success.
What's going on?
I don't know. It's been a long weekend. I will do this, though.
Ooh, here's a prop.
Okay, so this is my favorite part about the 80s is like the practical use of like effects.
Yeah.
Yes.
When they're talking about the tracking device for RoboCop and they hold it up and you know it's beeping.
Yeah.
It's a fixed light on. It's like an actual thing. It's got a fixed red light with a fixed set of lines
Screen.
of a road map. And he goes, "Look, we can find him anywhere we want." It's just blinking and everything's permanent on it. And then later on, it's got like some weird digitized screen that's like, "Oh, he's over there."
Yeah.
I want the prop of where it literally like we can track him. The red light doesn't move. The streets don't move. What the hell's going on here? I want that.
Just that block.
I just want that.
that.
They
one.
have several, like hundreds of these that are like different
Yes.
blocks of the city.
Go back and watch it. It is unbelievable. They just hold it up and you're like, that's just a toy. That's a kid's toy.
It's like they told him, it's like, hey, it's just a stationary thing. We'll do like a digital one later on.
And they forgot.
But just, you know, since we just have this physical one for right now, just kind of flash it and then turn away. Just flash it and turn away. Flash it and turn away. And it's like, okay, I think I got it. It's like, we don't worry, we've got it.
Yeah, you know
He's right here. He's right here.
Just
He's
leave
right
it. I
here.
don't care.
Okay.
People like the Robo guy, whatever. So who cares?
Right.
Auto 9. I want that gun.
Which one?
His
pistol.
side
Oh,
piece.
dude, that's pretty
It's
awesome.
so bad. I think they tested a Desert Eagle on him, like the one that was in the boardroom.
It just
Yeah.
felt too small.
It
Maybe
felt small even in RoboCop's hands, and so they customized a Beretta, I believe.
Cool.
And just like put some other shit on it, but it was functional, like, and it looks fucking
Seriously,
badass.
it looks very. If a robot guy walks up and pulls that out, I'm almost more scared of that than the ED-209.
I
Like that's
know.
terrifying.
3-shot burst, hell yeah.
Yeah.
dude.
Rock and roll, baby.
What are you taking, man?
I think I want the Desert Eagle that the guy got shot with.
Ooh.
I think that's what I want.
Okay, you
Like-
can have it. You guys are taking guns. I'm taking a toy
Turns out,
tracking device.
turns out
Whatever.
it was plastic. Like even if he could not defend himself.
Well, we don't want any live rounds in here, you know, in case of that.
Don't worry, it's
in
not
case
loaded.
of any
But
accidents.
yeah,
this
But
is
he is.
this is an office building.
Yeah.
Okay,
a lot of
No
windows.
rambunctious.
All right, bring in the death machine. Okay.
I do love a lot about this, about, you know, and maybe that's part of the satire of this, but they're basically like, all right, check it out. We made this RoboCop. Couple tests. Okay, you're on the streets.
Yeah,
There you go.
They didn't
look,
test
look,
him. Or
he can track. He can follow this pen. All right, you're good to go,
they
man.
tested his shooting, and that was it.
Yeah. They're like, hey, track this pen,
Dude,
record.
can he drive?
He's
I
got-
don't know. I think so.
Yeah.
He used to be able to drive.
It's like, sure.
You saw with
Yeah.
the ED-209, we didn't really track. We didn't test that. So
Speaking of driving, like he's going by and like he's gonna need a car, and he throws him keys, and he's like, thanks, and they all kind of looking at like admiration and stuff. That shot took like 50 takes to get.
I heard it was like multiple days because he couldn't catch it.
Because it's just rubber on his hands.
It just
It's
bounced off.
bouncing.
How frustrating that to
if
literally.
if you were him and you're just like, oh my god, I'm just roasting this goddamn
You're the,
suit.
you're the sound guy, you're the
Yeah.
microphone guy, just going, I can't feel my shoulders anymore.
I can't hold.
He's
I
got to
can't hold
have a substitute come in. He's like, okay, Ronnie, grab this.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I swear, give me one more take. I'm going to get it.
Son of a.
Damn it.
Okay, but this is like we talked about Indiana Jones, like one of the best character reveals of all time.
Oh sure.
I think this is up there as well. I love how they kind of keep it in secret. Like you see him briefly in that monitor a little bit, and then he goes into the police station, and it's just like walking by like
The tinted windows
the
kind
glass
of. Yeah.
thing, and then you could just see the back of him a little bit, and then the cage is kind of obscuring him a little bit. It's so awesome how they kind of draw this out a little bit.
Well, and we've already seen him. We've seen the cover of the movie.
Right.
We know what he looks like, but at the same time, it's still so badass.
We haven't seen him move. You know, it's. I think it's that where it's like it looks so good. This whole
It's so
thing
cool.
is amazing.
And-
Rob Bottin, who's from The Thing, and I think he did Starship Troopers. I know he did Total Recall, but one of the best makeup effects of all time in that movie. fucking nailed this.
Well, it's a fully functional and like real suit.
It's real.
You know, he wore this
He
suit.
wore it and acted like a robot.
Yeah.
For as much as we maybe want to talk about Peter Weller, I'm not saying he's not a good actor, but this character, it's like I don't like you. I'm not getting anything out of you. You're just kind of like you just got a face and you don't really say anything. But
Right.
his acting skills for me is the fact that he's like, didn't he study? Didn't he like go to like an acting class?
He had a mime help him out.
Of the movements of being. I mean, we all like to think, oh, I can do the robot.
Oh,
It's like, no.
The robot, right, guys?
He looks.
Oh, cool RoboCop impression.
Wow.
Sweet RoboCop impression.
I believe that he is legitimately a robot.
Definitely.
In this movie, and that is a testament to what he does. At walking down the hall, the head turns first,
Yes.
and then the body turns. I mean, that's unbelievable.
We say it all the time, especially with heavy makeup effect movies where, I think Dick Smith said it actually, or maybe Tom Savini, but he said, my creations aren't anything without a good actor.
Makes sense.
You have to act through that makeup and make that character become a character.
He even has those moments of like the way his hips kind of shift around too. Like you've kind of seen like the new robots that like all the big tech companies are working on and stuff, and like Tesla came out with one, and I think it was like Honda came out with one. And they have these like interesting movements, and they kind of move just like this. They're a program that has to run through this computer to make these motions happen, and even his hips are doing it too. It's really great.
Yeah. Even the sound effects of him too, like when he's first introduced, it's just that kind of like hum, like that constant hum, but then the foot stomps are so dope.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah. And I love this that we put him out on the streets and we're like, oh shit, it's awesome. It's working.
Yeah, dude.
Like, is the
Like, it can't get any worse out there.
No.
So just throw him on out.
And they threw him
Can he
out there.
drive?
We'll find out. It's just going to be one more one more check on the box. It's like whatever.
I love the convenience store, right? And I was wondering as I'm watching, I'm like, is this a dig on Miller Lite beer?
Please.
Is it like the fact that that safe is hidden underneath Miller Lite? So is that like stating that no one buys
one
Miller
wants it?
Lites? Because if they bought it, then they'd see the safe there. So that was what I was focusing on this entire scene. I was laughing a lot.
He shoots all those cans. He was like, "Drink Coors."
Yeah, exactly.
Could have been a great commercial.
I can't believe they didn't take advantage of this and just superimpose something. But anyways, I do think correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't he just bust through the door?
Yep. He creates more damage.
I mean,
It's like, can he drive? Oh, it turns out he can. Well, can he open doors? Nope.
9 out of 10.
Every
Pretty good.
door he goes through, he just destroys. And it's just like, yeah, whatever.
And he does he not even arrest the guy?
No, well.
Or wait, does he
so
kill this guy in the convenience store?
I'm thinking to myself, all of this stuff, all of these crimes that he's stopping are like he's just leaving cleanup for the other cops.
He's just kind of finishing it.
Like,
and
did they train him? Did they program him to do paperwork? Because that's the brunt of the work.
No.
you know?
That's not the glamorous stuff that you see in the cop TV shows
Exactly. Paperwork.
and Hawaii Five-0. You don't see all the paperwork, but it's like, yeah, we really couldn't get the he doesn't have much for penmanship. It's like, all right. So, and he just drops things off like they're groceries or something and just says, take care of these ones too. I'm going to go get more. It's like, whatever, dude. It's like, I'm not doing this. It's like, hey, Murphy, you got to do it. Like,
Well, can't they just have him plug in his fucking death spiked computer guy into a computer and do his report?
Yeah.
I would hope.
It's just a video download. It's like, here's my report.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
true.
It was just what I saw.
Like,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
still have to clean up the physical evidence.
Yeah.
RoboCop.
It's like
What do I call you?
Yeah,
RoboCop.
You left a crime scene. Anything could have happened from now till then. When that happened, we don't know. That's been tampered with now. You left a crime scene.
You get to the next one then when he stops this sexual assault thing. Tell me, I just thought of this. Tell me that you saw that weird remake over the last decade where it was RoboCop, but he was just shooting dicks.
Like a game?
No. It was like a funny thing where RoboCop was stopping crime, and he would just shoot, and like a dick would explode, and all it was him just shooting penises.
Shooting dicks.
We got to find the link to that because it just popped in my head thinking about this.
Oh
Because it was
god.
sort of a play on this scene. Like he shoots
Yep.
him in the crotch, but like I don't know who made that and who needs credit for it, but
Yeah.
it needs to be shared, and we will share it because it's one of the greatest things you've ever seen. Craig's pulling it up.
I have to imagine, or on that same note, there is definitely there a lot of places make like fake action figures and toys and stuff, and there's one that's packaged and it just says guy in RoboCop who got shot in the dick. And it's just this
You
guy.
hit a button on his back, and all of a sudden his crotch turns red.
Like in the package, it's just some guy who's just like, oh, like that. He's just got a red.
Press the
fucking
button on the
stain.
back of his body.
Buy
He's
them
like,
all.
It's just like I need that for here.
There's like coffee cups out there on like certain websites and stuff too, where they just say, remember when RoboCop and that guy got shot in the dick? It just says that on like a coffee cup. I love that.
It's important. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, it was Paul Verhoeven who came up with the idea to do that. He's like, well, what if, because he's such a good shot, he's like, the girl's dress is spread out, and maybe he just kind of precision shoots his fucking dick.
Yeah.
And the writer was like, fuck yeah, let's do that.
That sounds.
I mean,
tight, dude.
Again, we're talking about things that would deter crime, right? Like
Don't
the
rape. I'm gonna shoot you in the dick.
ED 209 walking on the streets is going to stop all crime.
Yeah.
Finding out that the punishment for committing a sexual assault is getting your dick shot off in
Yeah.
a firing line. Well, that's it for me. I'll never do that.
Yeah, I've never
Sounds
thought about it.
good.
I'm definitely not ever going to ever again.
Right.
We're just our idea of punishment is just not correct.
Yeah, honestly.
Well,
We need to figure that out. Then he goes.
matching the crime. I don't know.
Then he goes to stop that hostage situation.
Yeah.
That did you catch like the pretty obvious flub on that when the guy falls out the window?
Oh,
That-
yeah.
Like he
can
falls
tell.
out the window and he like bounces and you can see legs like bounce off the ground and go in the air. I read somewhere that they saw that in the outtakes and they're like, that's funny.
That's funny. Leave
Like
it.
I guess they just Paul Verhoeven just had a grasp on that like adding that extra weird stuff to be like, yeah, clear as day, this guy fell out a window and he hit a safety thing and his
Right.
legs flew in the air. Like, yeah, leave it. Like,
Yeah.
he seemed. I don't feel like those were mistakes. They just kind of said, "Nah,
Maybe not.
sounds good."
I do like how when he drives up to that scene, he just drives through the caution tape.
It's pretty good.
Like, I'm RoboCop.
I can't see thin strips of thing. I thought I could drive it.
It's basically like Last Action Hero. It's like the
Yes.
rules just don't apply.
And dude, I thought about that too. It's
Yeah.
like every time he pulls out of the garage,
Yeah.
he fucking bottoms out.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I don't
Every
care.
time.
I don't care.
I
But
don't
this
care.
was
They'll
based
fix
off
this.
of the Harvey Milk situation. Like the guy that killed Harvey Milk in real life,
Oh.
like wanted his job back and everything. Like that was, I think this scene was based off of that.
To show that he could stop it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I guess.
Weird.
This is certainly like this is also comical.
It is.
The way that this guy is like, he's just it's this weird like unreasonable like idiot.
Yeah.
I don't. And he's just like,
I want a helicopter.
I want a helicopter. I want my job. I want the
And I want my
recounts.
whole job back.
I want the recounts done, and no matter how it comes out, I want my job back. And he says, he's like, and I want a car, one that gets really shitty gas mileage, and like you're just like,
We'll get you one of
wait,
those 6000 SUX.
The
Yeah,
6,000 XUX, baby.
The 6,000 sucks. Yeah, let's just get
it's,
that.
It's clear because this isn't right in this scene where the news is showing this hostage situation and it comes from a commercial for the fucking Nukem
Dude.
board game.
Jeez.
What is the tagline? Get them before they get you.
Yeah.
No more military support for you. Like,
Yeah.
I like laughed my fucking ass
Yeah.
off at this game.
It's ridiculous how on point this is.
yes.
Like it's so scary.
Get together with the family and play Nukem.
Nukem.
A fun family
I
game.
get to be South Korea.
It's like Battleship, but it's like
Yeah.
to
Exactly
the
what
nth
it
degree.
is.
Like it's just insane.
Yeah.
Get them before they get you.
Yeah.
Nukem. I do. That's one of my favorite things about him is his commercials.
Yeah.
that are in all the movies. Like it's
Definitely.
incredible.
I think actually I saw that the Chiodos brothers did some of the commercials.
Really?
The guys who did Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, no
Dude.
kidding.
Yeah, I read that. I'm like, oh, that makes total fucking sense.
Jeez. Not like that.
If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on board.
Because I don't like killer
Killer
clowns
Clowns
from
from
Outer
Outer
Space.
Yes,
Okay,
correct,
good. Okay,
correct.
just that's why.
We need to talk about a punchable face. I'm assuming we're all on the same page here, right? Is it Emil? Emil? Listen, I'll make my case for it.
Okay.
This dude is quite possibly the most disgusting looking human I've ever seen in film. His fucking like sideburn, his long sideburns that go above his chin line that turn into a mustache goatee. That's enough for me. But then you look at do you see his haircut? How he's completely bald on the top, but he's got this thinning hair that comes to a line in the middle.
Yeah.
And then goes all the way to the back that makes this weird little ponytail thing in the back.
Yeah, just cut it off, man.
Dude, somebody needs to talk to this guy because I think he's the most disgusting human I've ever seen in film. And more power to him as an actor for making him look this way, but he is such a hated person in my his face needs to get punched.
It's pretty awful.
I mean, he gets it. He gets it later on. He gets it probably worse than anybody.
Maybe the most over the top.
Yeah.
And yet I still feel like he still needs to get punched in the face.
Okay. Yeah. I can't really think of anybody else. AJ, do you got some weird outlier that you usually pull out of the fucking
Okay, at 32 minutes and 14 seconds, there's a guy on the corner.
Yeah, you see him just in the corner of the screen. You can see him. He drives by in a car, actually, really fast. He's a dick.
Paul Verhoeven in the dance scene.
Yeah.
That's right. No, I don't think so. Like, I don't believe so. I think I was gonna say like Dougie or something, but I don't know. No, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm with Emil.
Okay, you with
Let's
me?
do it.
I like in that scene as well that I read that the guy in the gas station reading like math books and like studying his geometry or whatever was supposed to like pretty much be Paul Verhoeven back in the day.
Oh, really?
Like, he was just a super nerd for that stuff. And but yeah, and then like Emil in this scene where gets confronted by RoboCop and is your move, creep, or what's the other line? You're coming with me. Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Dead or alive, you're coming with
Such
me.
fucking badass line, and that's where he kind of clicks. Like, I know you.
Yeah.
We killed you.
Right.
And then I didn't realize that he like goes to jail until later. when
Yeah. So he gets caught
Yeah.
in this scene basically and goes to jail.
But like, it's still like RoboCop.
Nobody pops his cherry.
Yeah, RoboCop can't do anything without blowing something up.
Yeah. It's just it's like if I were the like let's say that this program goes the right way and 6 months down the line like RoboCop and maybe there's a couple of them at that point. The program's going great, right? And if you're like John Q. Public or like a business owner, you're just like, oh God, not RoboCop. Everything's gonna blow up here.
No.
It's like getting a.
Well, I'm sorry, your insurance doesn't cover Robo Police. So
It's like getting
robotic
it's
police.
like getting
so
an
unfortunately-
automated voice in a fucking voicemail or something.
Yeah.
It's like, can I just get a regular person?
Can I can I just talk to a human? Oh my gosh.
Customer service.
Customer service.
That does bring up a point though, like how Emil.
Emil
God
Yeah.
damn it. Having a problem there.
and RoboCop.
Yeah.
Emil.
Emil.
And also Lewis are all like, I recognize you. You're Murphy. It's like if AJ, listen, if I haven't seen you in weeks and you were a robot and I could only see from like the bottom of your nose to your chin, I would not know it's you.
Yeah, it's fair.
Can I at least throw that out there?
I think
There's
that's
no
fair.
way these people are recognizing him.
Yeah, no.
I'm throwing it out there.
It's like, hey, you said a common line that anyone could say. I know you. Like, what?
You're the guy that got 52 rounds in him and somehow survived. No.
Right. It's like, no, dude, no. It's just no.
I do like when he is talking to the gas station guy. He's like, what are you, some kind of college boy? You think you're smarter than me, huh? You think you're smart? He's like, well, I'm actively trying to get there, so if you could just leave me alone.
I'm just trying to better my life. I don't want to work at a gas station the rest of my
Not
life.
in Detroit.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get him.
Let's move on to scene 4. So RoboCop begins to exhibit erratic behavior and starts to remember his past life. He tries to stop Emil from a robbery. Okay, from a robbery, and processes even more about the past, leading him to visit his old residence and eventually hunts down Leon at a nightclub. Meanwhile, Bob Morton is visited by Clarence Boddicker and is killed. RoboCop finds Boddicker at a drug deal, kills most of the gangsters, and arrests Boddicker to bring him into the police station. Dick Jones frees him on bail, brings him to his office where he activates ED-209 and arranges for Boddicker to destroy RoboCop.
Can we just say it's weird that a guy named Dick had to name something ED?
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Just
Just wanted to get that out there.
I left that for you.
I
like,
appreciate
he'll get there
that.
eventually.
It's really good.
Thanks for that, guys. I appreciate you.
That I think Newmeyer wrote that joke for you.
Nice.
For you to find.
Oh, good.
Someday.
He knew.
Some dudes podcast.
2023.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, like, it is blatant. Though. Like, it's obvious, like, what they're doing.
It's like I just think like the conversations of like him like showing this to people like in the R&D department, right? In the E&D department, in the R&D department, and he's going through and he's like, wow, yeah, man, this is gonna revolutionize everything. What do you call it, Dick? ED. What?
But what's that stand for?
Don't say anything. Don't.
Electronic disruption.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Well, this is supposed to serve and protect the
Oh yeah.
dysfunction.
It's fine. Just
Yeah,
let
it's a
him
little
go.
just.
Let him be.
Just sounds like you're compensating a little bit, Dick.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say a little.
No,
Dick.
his name's Richard, and he actively says, "No, call me Dick." I mean,
Yeah.
it's just leave him alone.
It's weird how he does.
Just leave him alone.
Yeah, he wanted that.
How do you feel about the scene of when he goes back to his old house?
I was going to ask you about this. How do you feel about an automated realtor, Mike?
I love the idea that you don't have to be there, you know, because most people are like, "Can I see it?" and they don't want to.
And you got to drop everything right then and there.
I love that idea, but I also feel this is very bad realtoring. That they're like, yeah, we went through all the trouble to like get this house listed and put these TVs in there, but they didn't clean up shit in that place.
No, they didn't.
There's like burnt photographs on the counter and like
Is there a seance in here? What the hell's going on?
This literally feels like a crime scene still,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Like not still.
Yeah,
it
isn't
was
there, like,
never a crime
leaves
scene.
blowing around?
Yes, like nobody. If you're gonna stage a house, you're gonna like put couches in there and make them look nice. You're not gonna put blankets over them.
Right.
You're never gonna do this.
You know why? Because it looks like someone was killed there.
It really feels like somebody was killed. No one was, but we've tried to make it feel like someone was.
Maybe this is a situation like Detroit is just like so run down at this point that realtors even have to scrape by and like even do showings for like squatters. So like, see how lovely this could really be? It's
Check
like,
it out. Just make sure you give me 5% of.
Look here, this sink, it doesn't have running water, but you can definitely burn a fire in here.
See this room over here? See this room adjacent to the closet? The closet's really nice. You can put your stuff in there. But this room, perfect size for any box you want to put in, and perfect size for any box you want to sleep in. It's really nice.
They've got a wonderful, it's an unfinished basement, so you can really go hog wild with your imagination during your heroin trips.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
Invite all your buddies over to do heroin with you and suck each other's cocks.
Whoa.
Whatever you guys do.
Oh, yeah, dude, totally.
That's what we do.
Yeah. When you were little, you just like, hang out and just like.
Just hang out. We're doing heroin. What else we gonna do?
But you're right. This is an obnoxious like freaking thing that he's just walking through, and like I didn't even put it together honestly that it was some sort of like was it like a showing of some kind, or like he was able to like go through? Or
I think it's just an automated.
memories?
They're just automated TVs.
Okay.
Oh wait, what are you talking about? Like
he was remotely doing this from his house. The realtor was.
Well, like no, like I'm trying to put it together. Like he's going through this house. And he's like, is he just having flashbacks and like all that kind of stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, you guys like really had me going for a minute. Like, wait, did I miss something? Because you asked so genuinely, Sean. Look, Mike, how do you feel about digital realties?
I really like it.
Like it, do you? Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I do like the scene where he's having the flashback and he goes into, I presume, their room, and she like runs up on him like POV. I have to tell you something. I love you. And then the camera proceeds to go inside of her.
Get it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Get it?
Come on.
Get it?
That means We didn't see it, but they.
Yeah.
Robo
And he didn't
cock.
see
Yeah,
it either.
RoboCop.
RoboCocked.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They RoboCocked.
You just got cocked.
Well, so obviously in this scene, moving on, you got Bob Morton here having his demise, right? Because we had the scene where Dick Jones and him kind of had a conversation. I feel very bad for Bob Morton here. Bob Morton stepped in and delivered a product that is like actually working.
Yeah.
He went about it kind of in a dickish way, but like he's clearly an up and coming guy. He's like he knows his shit.
And by the way, he's not wrong
He's not.
in anything he said. He was being kind of a dick, but at the same time, well, he's right.
You got someone killed.
Yeah, you literally killed somebody in a boardroom during in the broad daylight during our meeting. Like, yeah, you're a complete fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
I saved the company. What?
And
What?
And it sucks. Do you think he would have? Do you think they would have kept him alive if he wouldn't have talked shit in the bathroom? Like, do you think Dick Jones was going after him no matter what?
I think that was just the final straw.
The fact that that's the thing where it basically turned from like, all right, fine, I guess he did okay, but it's like I heard him talking,
He said
saying
bad
mean
things
things about me.
I was pooping and I heard
You crossed the line. You don't get to call me names and get away with it. Now I'm gonna literally murder you.
names such as boner and even asshole.
Yeah. It's like, dude, it's pretty messed up. And by the
Bitches
way,
leave. Sorry.
yeah. Well, I'm just saying, the way that these movies always go is I was certain that there would just be a like coke everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Much like plutonium, just available on every corner of the thrift store. Like,
Yes.
it's just like, oh, cocaine can just be purchased
Cocaine,
because it's everywhere.
prostitutes,
Yes.
plutonium,
Yes.
fucking world's crazy.
I can
Yeah.
only presume in this time of Detroit that there are kiosks for plutonium.
Yeah.
There are kiosks
Yep.
for coke.
Yep.
And kiosks for hookers.
Yes.
Yes.
Bitches.
So
Did you know that Kurtwood Smith has killed Miguel Farah in a movie before?
What?
Other than this one? It's the second time that he's killed him in a movie. First one was called Flashpoint in 1984.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
He killed him in that movie too.
That's awesome.
why does
kinda
that movie
fun.
sound so familiar?
I've never seen
Who
it.
else is in that movie?
I don't know. I know of it because I came
Yeah.
across on research. but-
Okay. He just can't get away from him, can he?
Nope.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
It's man, what a crummy way to go. I always like literally revert back to the point of like, I don't really condone the hard drugs, but hey, you know what? You should have a good time. Have a good time for yourself,
He's
man.
doing it in his house.
Glad you're having a good time. You're doing it safe. You invited them over. You offered them a place to stay so
Yep.
they don't have to drive. Overall, you're doing a pretty good thing here. Have some fun, man. You earned it. You earned that bonus. And then he's just, boy, his night really gets turned upside down.
Yes.
You earned that
It's like,
boner.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I don't like it.
Well, and then like as
It's like it makes me sad for him.
as
I'm sad for. I think humanized Bob Morton. I don't think he did anything
absolutely,
wrong.
I
I
agree
know.
with you. I think as the bitches leave, one of them's like, "Gee, bye, Bobby." That's what you say when he just was blasted in the knees like 12 times.
Well,
It's not like we gotta get the fuck out of here.
yeah.
They're high.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a good night.
Gee, bye.
What? I'll see you tomorrow.
I got to go continue to look like an old lady.
Yeah.
Even though I'm supposed to be a really hot girl.
Are we still on for a jog tomorrow morning? Like what are you talking about? My knees.
When this is one of my favorite facts that I did read about this is they get to the scene where RoboCop does go find Boddicker at the drug deal in that big shootout.
Okay.
Peter Weller said one of his favorite memories of his entire film career was filming this drug bust sequence. And he said that while filming the sequence, Weller was listening to Peter Gabriel's song Red Rain on his Walkman inside the RoboCop helmet as he exchanged gunfire.
It's dope. Like if you listen to that song,
That's one of my favorite songs ever.
That is the song to whenever you're shooting up a cocaine factory. That's
yeah.
the song you listen to.
Track 1 of Peter Gabriel's So album. Like,
Okay.
Gotcha.
it is awesome.
Well,
And now I will never hear that song the same ever again.
now that I know for the next drug bust I break up, I will definitely listen to that song.
You can't not.
Yeah.
Or if
You have
you're
to.
at a drug deal and
Yeah.
you hear that faintly from another room,
Run.
Better get out of there.
Get
I
out.
mean,
Okay.
this is
good
pure.
call. Yeah.
This is pure like 80s capital 8 underlined
is.
scored 80s where it's just a shootout in a cocaine factory, and it's just the good guy murking everybody.
Yep.
Like this is what you want to see in an 80s action movie, a movie called RoboCop. What do you guys think about this whole shootout?
The only thing that ever bothers me in this is that he has like a burst round pistol, and it's like do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on! Like, it's like does that mean he missed the other 2 shots?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
come
dude,
on.
you're moving just a
Or it's
millimeter.
so precise.
Yeah,
like
he's so
one
good.
bullet penetrates and then the others just go in that hole
Yeah,
as well.
they just triple in.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the only thing that bothers me about it. But in the end, you're right. It is just an amazing action shootout sequence. Like, it's just fun.
And then Kurtwood Smith like begging for his life here, and, like shoving him through the glass, all the glass, and he's getting gradually cut up. You know, I don't know. I love that about. I just love Kurtwood Smith's or Bodeger's like. He's a pissant. He'll do anything to not be killed, but he'll
Right.
do anything to kill as well. I like how he's kind of bested here, and you almost kind of be like, "Is this movie almost over?"
I know.
That's kind
Did
of what
they
I
get
thought.
him?
Yeah,
That's what I thought too. I was like, I don't remember it. I feel like this is short.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I was really kind of engaged to the point of like, wow, I guess this is it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it wasn't.
So there's a couple more parts here, though. You got Dick Jones freeing him. He goes to jail. Then Dick Jones frees him, brings him to the office. I did also read that Kurtwood Smith's wife is Joan Perkle, and she is the one playing Dick Jones's secretary that he's like harassing and hitting on when he shows up.
Oh.
And he's like,
Oh,
"Hey, man," that's his actual wife
Yeah.
in real life, which is pretty great. And I did I had to laugh a lot because RoboCop shows up, and this is when the ED 209 can't go down the steps.
Yeah.
And I had a moment where I was like, "Oh, poor guy can't." And he falls over, and they program. Not only did they program a growl in him from earlier, but they programmed like squealing like a pig when it falls over. That he's making that noise like when he falls over. You're like, this is weird program. Like Dick Jones, I don't know what you're doing here, man.
Yeah, this whole thing was a bad idea.
Everything about this was a bad idea. He can't even walk down steps.
Come on.
Like, why does it have to be this big?
Yeah.
Just to be intimidating?
Yes,
Like,
it is.
you know, it's like it is. It's one of those things. It can't go down the stairs, and then it made me go back to like thinking about, oh man, yeah, they don't have any
guy.
escalators in this place.
Somebody did make a comment about Die Hard where they should, instead of stopping it, they should have reversed
them.
That would have made more of a trap.
Yeah.
Like, I can't run down this
Dang it,
thing.
we can't get down it fast enough.
All right, let's finish this. So scene 5, after escaping, the ED-209 RoboCop is shot by police. Lewis rescues him and takes him to a steel mill to repair himself. The gang tracks RoboCop down, but one by one they're defeated. Murphy, Lewis, and Boddicker have a final showdown that leaves Lewis injured, Boddicker killed. RoboCop interrupts a meeting of the OCP board and openly accuses Dick Jones of murder with proof for the board members. The old man fires Dick, which allows RoboCop to kill him.
I do like this. It's kind of this almost commentary, and maybe I'm just reading into it a little too far, right? But you have the people from his police department, right? And then you have these other cops who are like either from different departments or they're from like a SWAT team or something like that. And when they really do get back out and around and they're like ready to shoot him, and everyone's like, no, don't shoot him. He's a cop. He's a cop. And if it's like a commentary on they're taking their orders and they're being robots themselves taking the orders to shoot this robot. You know what I mean? It just made me, I had this like brief moment of like, this is too much, AJ. I think you're reading into it too much. And then I'm thinking myself, I was like, I mean, it works.
Yeah.
It's like, they're unstoppable and they're not going to take anything other than the orders that they were already given, and they won't break away from it. And there again, you have like the morality of RoboCop, the actual RoboCop, of why he is able to break away from things.
Yeah.
You know?
Someone says, I think in the police force, someone says like we basically are the military. Like at this point, you know.
Yeah.
And it's very telling of like, you know, militarizing the police nowadays and becoming like taking orders like this, you know. But then it makes me think too, like this watch around. the OCP in general, or like corporatization of the police, or like OCP buying the police and then them going on strike is just so. I assume maybe like back in the day when this came out, people were like, "Wow, that's pretty far fetched." But I'm just like, that's what's happening right now. Is corporate mentality is just kind of taking over everything, and we are kind of bought and sold right now. You know.
Yep.
I think it's like again so far ahead of its time. What do you guys think about that? Did you catch a lot of that? Because obviously when I was 4 years old, I didn't.
No, not at all. You don't catch that when you're young, and I still think a lot of it's just so subtle that it's hard to even catch it as an adult. The people keep talking about this is one of the greatest satires of all time, and I'm kind of watching and being like, I don't see it as much as some people.
One of the best documentaries.
I just see it more as like, this is a kind of an action movie. But then if you really dive into it, that's when you start to see those things underneath.
I think it becomes more of, I would consider it more of a commentary piece rather than a satire. You know, it's Paul Verhoeven. He has the ability to do that, to just make a commentary out of things that must genuinely bother him to some degree, and incorporate that into the movies he's doing.
Yep.
And I think that's what's really great about it. I think it's just a commentary on where the world was going at that point in time, and I think it's kind of scary that he nailed it so easily.
This time around too, I like the idea of Murphy as RoboCop now, but he's also like becoming pretty much sentient, I guess. He's recalling his memories and like he was married and everything. But realizing that he's stuck in this suit now, like, is actually very terrifying. And like, do you embrace this role, or do you kind of recoil and, I don't know, maybe want to self-destruct yourself or something? What do you guys think about that?
Well, I know, because if he really does become like fully aware of himself and like just what he is, and actually overrides what his what do they call, like his protocols or whatever. Directives, then yes, I think that is very scary. It's like you can't just get out of this like you're Iron Man or something, you know.
Right.
I think that is very terrifying. You will never, you know, all jokes aside, you don't have a robo-dick. And you just have to live this way.
Pretty important, you know.
You know?
But it is interesting because he taught in this scene where he's like in the warehouse, he's talking as if he isn't actually Murphy. He's like, I can feel him. And, you know, he's speaking like he's observing Murphy's old life. But you know, but then she's talking as if he is Murphy, like you're Murphy. And so I still find trouble figuring out exactly what's going on there. Like, is he just a robot that also has access to Murphy's brain? Or is it like actually Murphy, but with robot controls? Like,
right.
It's very hard to decipher what exactly is going on there.
And is there a learning capacity to it where, like Terminator 2, right?
Yeah.
Where he can learn, and the more he interacts with humans, the more humanistic he can become, or like human he can become. That's also another thing that I wish you would get a little bit more background on that. Yes. I think that's the only major thing that's missing for me.
I think it develops over time well enough for me, where he is in that aspect where he is talking about himself, not realizing it in third person. I think over the movie he starts to talk about himself in first person.
Yeah, it changes,
Murphy.
right?
Yeah, I think it really navigates that kind of narrative really, really well for me, anyway.
Yeah. And I don't know how you guys are feeling on this. I'm kind of at the point of I guess we had the showdown with like Boddicker and stuff.
Yep.
But I don't know, even then for me, there were some parts of that still felt a little probably washed over. I don't know. Did you guys feel the same way or not? Like was Boddicker's like everything with Boddicker and him finally like getting his?
It seemed pretty easy that like all these guys died, and it was a fun. Like, this might be the funnest sequence of the movie, but Boddicker's just like, okay, you're not the main guy. Dick Jones is the main guy.
Right.
We got to get rid of you.
Right. And that's kind of just what it is. I actually really like the Dick Jones death.
Oh yeah,
I think that was actually I thought that was extremely creative.
Yeah,
the way
amazing
that it was put together. It's like I cannot control or kill any employee of this company. And like he says that, you know, I'm unauthorized to do it, and then he gets fired. He just says, "Thank you." Boom.
Yeah, but I also have an argument about that. I don't think the old man was smart enough to even realize what was going on.
What he was doing?
I think he fired. He's like, "You're fired because you suck."
Yeah, I'm tired
I
of
don't
this.
think he realized that by firing would allow RoboCop to
You
kill
don't think
him.
so?
No, in that same instance.
I do not think so.
Shit.
Yeah,
That's
I didn't mean whoa.
then that's incredibly funny.
That was my interpretation of it. He just fired him because he's like, "You're fired."
He's like, yeah, well, this is ridiculous. You've had people killed in here. You've botched projects. You've lost us billions of dollars. I guess I'm kind of tired of it. You're fired now.
So then he actually kills him, and then afterwards he's like, "Why did he shoot him?" And they
Yeah.
have to explain him like, "Okay, so I don't know if you were listening, but
So-
there was another directive that he was talking about that he couldn't actually get employees of the company. So like right now he couldn't kill you.
Right.
Yeah, but why did he kill Dick? Well, because you fired him. But oh."
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Like that's
Yeah.
I'd like to. That's
Kinda
what I
fun,
wanted
huh?
to happen after this, when they had to sit him down and explain.
What if-
you technically got him killed?
Yeah, that worked out really well, didn't it?
What
Kinda
if,
crazy.
What if it was like, well, you're fired, and then he had to wait for like the paperwork and processing, and then it had to be filed in, and it's just like he's now fired. It's like cool. Continue.
Secretary walks in. Turns out you cannot actually fire him
Yeah.
because he's your directly underneath. So
Yeah.
the board has to have a vote on it. Okay, hold on.
Dude.
Everybody sits down. RoboCop sits down. And they're like, aye.
Oh.
The ayes have it. Boom.
Damn bureaucratic red tape. Just oh.
Yeah, corporate mentality
Yeah.
taking over, man.
Yeah, never get anything done quickly around here.
We have to talk about all of the effects that we just glossed over.
Yeah.
All right, so modern day ratings.
all right,
All right.
The Murphy's face, like pretty much just like
Unbelievable.
plastered over a machine, looks like that.
It looks real.
It looks so goddamn good. I kind of disappointed that the helmet's not back on during this, but I guess
Yeah.
you're like trying to strip away the roboticness
Yes.
of Murphy to get him more of a humanity back,
Yeah.
which definitely works for me. But then like the 50 caliber pretty much grenade launchers that they get are
Yeah.
super fucking tight.
know.
I love all those effects. Like even when they were testing him out when the police are officially
Oh, dude,
on
that's one of
strike,
my favorite scenes.
it's awesome. He blows up what's his name, 6,000 subs.
Yeah.
And but there was one shot, there was like a wide shot when like one of them shoots like a store.
Yep.
And the actors are right there and it blows up right there. They got like glass in their face. It cut them up like really bad. Like Ray
Yikes.
Wise in there.
Oh,
like
man.
a lot of them they got stunt pay because of that.
Wow.
And then Ray Wise was like, well, I'm just gonna get next to every explosion I can if I'm gonna get paid extra.
Might as well.
Like that's awesome. But I love also just because we can do it because we're Paul Verhoeven, toxic waste, Emil.
Dude, yeah, the toxic waste death. You're right. We did kind of gloss over that, but what an obnoxious thing. And this again, I'll say it again, right up there with this Evil Dead idea, like makeup
Yeah.
craziness, just disgusting, disturbing. Makes you feel uncomfortable just watching this guy slob around. Like, I don't know. It's so
I notice
upsetting.
details every rewatch I do. Like his fingers, like
Yeah.
his skin is coming away from the bone.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, man, this, and it's funny because it progresses every time. It gets a little bit more and more as like a little more time goes on each time
Yeah.
too. It gets worse and worse for
And
him.
he just explodes when Boddicker runs into him. Apparently, that was just leftover food from catering. They just piled it in.
Well, you had this in 87, then you had Batman in 89, where it's just like toxic waste is going to be a big problem
Yeah.
in our
It's-
life. Like,
I
it's
knew it
just
would
sitting
be.
around, and if you come into instant contact with it, you're dead.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's over for you.
Yeah, that's why we didn't travel to big cities when I was a kid because there's just toxic waste everywhere. I
In
knew
New
it.
York. Yeah,
There's
I-
tar pits. There's toxic waste.
quicksand.
Quicksand is everywhere.
Huge,
Yes.
dude.
I'm
That's
gonna
a
stay-
huge.
I'm staying
problem.
home.
That's why. That's why a lot of playgrounds had to get replaced sand with just those rubber chips.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do want a lovable face though. Johnson, Felton Perry plays Johnson.
Yes.
You wanna
from
hug
Dumb and
Johnson?
Dumber.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why I love him so much. Like I love how the old man gets killed in the boardroom and everybody's just like, cool.
Especially
like,
him.
He's just like, yeah, good job. man.
it, RoboCop.
You've seen two people be
Yeah.
murdered in the span of a couple months in
In the
this
same
boardroom.
room.
and you're just like, good job.
And he thought both of them were pretty tight. He's like having a good time.
He definitely was just missing some popcorn at both
Dude,
of
his
those
best friend,
events.
his best work friend, Bob Morton, was killed,
Yeah.
and he's just like, this is cool.
He's
Whatever.
he's like, man, I hope I'm not next, but this is kind of interesting, huh? It's like,
Right?
Let's not think about that stuff.
I just try to stay positive, you know?
Oh my God.
I do love the last line. He just says Murphy. He just says his name. It's just like a perfect cap to the end
Murphy.
of this. I think it's like completely. He starts off as Murphy, becomes a robot. I think he ends the movie as Murphy. I really think it's a great kind of roundabout to this whole narrative.
Absolutely.
Did you catch the fan theory that that this is a prequel to Starship Troopers?
No.
No, but I love this already.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Verhoeven did both, so it's very easy to make that connection. But on Reddit, user Tanoki Doki,
You already won. I don't
Great.
care what's coming next.
congrats. He says that in the RoboCop universe, Omni Consumer Products basically becomes the government of Detroit. By RoboCop 2, the city's in such debt to OCP that the chairman tries to foreclose on all property in the city in order to create a gentrified utopia called Delta City. He's nearly capable of enacting this plan due to the power of OCP, despite not being an elected official. In order to exercise your rights as a citizen, you need company stock. Old political institutions are looked on as symbols of decay and corruption. So in Starship Troopers, this mentality is expressed in what seems like a society that took it to full fruition. Like it made it to this point. Their government is based around citizens who are all subservient to the central military authority. Citizens are required to serve if they want to gain full rights within their society, which means they've essentially scrapped democracy as a concept. It's not hard to believe that the OCP and the urban rehabilitators were a proto-form of Terran Federation, which ended up taking over. So OCP was unsuccessful in the films. The power vacuum that was left in society called for a new centralized force to maintain order and security at the time that neither were guaranteed. So in both universes, we find that locker rooms and showering facilities are co-ed for police and military. The propaganda between both films is frightfully similar in tone and execution. Additionally, the color palette and uniforms are stylistically in sync.
It's true.
The urban rehabilitator uniform is very similar to the Terran Federation uniform. So I think it's kind of fun to think about. They tried it in RoboCop. It didn't quite get there, but the ideals were like, all right, we can tweak that. We can keep pushing this. And it became, instead of police, it became more of a military-based thing, and they eventually succeeded in it. So
That makes total sense.
I
again,
love viewing that.
He even mentioned, like, didn't you say there was a line, the police says we basically are the military or
Yeah,
vice versa? It's
basically.
like, yeah.
And
So,
you're starting to see that, like the strings are starting to go, I think it's very easy to connect those two.
I bet
agree.
Paul Verhoeven would subscribe to
Yes,
that.
he would.
Definitely.
Call him up.
just give him a shout really quick before we end this episode. Okay, cool.
Well, you boys got anything else you want to talk about on RoboCopy?
That's it.
Wow.
All right, so we have dissected this with a modern eye. We got to give it a modern day rating. Sean, I'm going to start with you on this one. What do you think about this now that we've stripped it away?
Like I said, I haven't seen this movie since I was a little kid. I don't know why. My mom got me just a DVD of this movie, and I still haven't like unwrapped it. Because I don't know what it was of me not returning to watch this movie. I don't know, because I loved it when I was a kid. And then viewing it this time, man, it renewed everything that I love about this character, everything I love about this movie. Paul Verhoeven has become like one of my favorite directors now. I think it's an absolute masterpiece, and I can't get enough of it now. Like, I'm going to watch 2 and 3, even though I know they're not that great. But yeah, man, I think this movie's perfect, other than just one Phil Tippett shot at the end of Dick falling from the thing. Remember that shot?
that
His arms
that
are
was
like
kind of bad.
weirdly stretched out. That's the only thing wrong with this movie. It's a 9.8.
Yeah.
9.8 for Sean. AJ, what about you, man?
I do really. I'm really glad to get to like revisit this like in its entirety, and I think there are like those little bugs in some of the special effects. Not too much. A lot of it's just fine. I completely spaced to ask you guys about why that happened at the end with like the stretched out arms and stuff.
I think they were just like,
I
whatever.
totally spaced on that, but because I saw it, and every single time it like shocked me rewatching it like all 3
It
times
is like
or whatever.
actually bad.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why?
Murphy.
Why?
Movie over.
At the same time, because the whole movie's been a masterpiece for me up until this point, it's just like charming now. But still, I can't get around that.
Yes.
That is bad.
Yeah, and so
That's worth 0.2 points in Sean's
Exactly.
yeah, it is.
if you want to know. Every scene that looks real bad, 0.2 points.
What did you give it, Sean?
9.8.
9.8. Okay, so I do really think that it is a great movie. I think you have to, again, I want to try to judge movies based on the time that they were created and really put together and thought through. And it's got a lot of great characters in there. It's got a lot of great character actors in there. And I'm somewhat impressed of how much and I think that's another Paul Verhoeven thing is like he's okay with just you getting into the movie with him. Look, this is the world we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Accept it and let's move on. And I really like that style of filmmaking and directing and writing. You know, I just think that it certainly adds to it. It just says we're going to go on this wild ride for a little bit. Come along with us. I think Kurtwood Smith is just kind of a terrifying person. I think it's got all the great elements of the movie, and there's some weird comedy aspects too that sometimes throw me off. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 7.25.
7.25 for age. I'm going to kind of be right in the middle of you guys. I very much enjoyed this. Like, this really holds up very well for a 1987 movie. It is a fun story. It's easy to watch. It's just great, right? But I also haven't seen it in a long enough time that I think it's going to be like Starship Troopers to me, where the underlying elements have not really hit me yet. It's not like I'm having trouble finding the commentary. Like, and I know it's there. There's some subtle parts, but everybody keeps talking about all this undertone stuff. I'm like, I don't see it. But I think it's just because I need to watch it more, because I haven't seen this movie for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I think this will only improve as I watch it more. I'm going to go 7.9 right now is what I'm going to give this, which is very high on my list. We got to see what Michael Guiliano says as executive producer. He said, like I said before, I had never watched RoboCop, but I'd seen enough references to it in pop culture to get the basic gist of what it was about. Good guy cop gets killed, gets rebuilt as a robot, fights crime. Seems pretty straightforward. What I wasn't expecting was a fun, rough movie with lots of action, gratuitous violence, and weirdly prescient beliefs about the future of both corporate America and law enforcement. Underneath the grim and grit, this movie has a human heart, and I was surprised by both how much I liked it and how well it's held up. Even the effects, with the exception of the bad model work or primitive CGI for the ED-209 scenes, still look pretty good considering they're going on 35 years old. The cast is also pretty spectacular. Miguel Ferreira, R.I.P., kills it, even with a baby face, and without sounding like he's been smoking 2 packs a day for 10 years.
Not yet, yeah.
Not yet. Paul McCrane manages to be the biggest a-hole he's ever been on screen, and if you've seen him in other things, you know that's saying something. And a not quite baby face, but still youngish Kurtwood Smith is straight diabolical. I know he was the tough but lovable Red Foreman on That 70s Show, but he could have made a career as a big bad in some of the other film universes.
Definitely.
To say nothing of Peter Weller, who manages to convey more emotion and feeling with a monotone voice and half of his face covered than many other actors can manage. Also, this is random, but as a prop, I'd really like that nerdy scientist lady's massive square blue glasses. That is that is a very random prop, but you can have it. Because they don't make them like that anymore. I was just really surprised by how much I would up like this movie. It really has aged well and has a ton of rewatchability. My modern day rating is going to be an 8.25.
Nice.
So kids, that's going to take us as a group to an 8.3. which is going to put it up there pretty high. I'm going to tell you exactly where. That's an 8.3. That is all alone in the 24th spot. That is going to be right below Lethal Weapon, right above Jurassic Park.
Wow.
Is how we feel
Okay.
about this. Feels like
Damn.
Lethal Weapon might be a little high on there, but that's okay. It's okay.
I think that's exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, not
Lethal
very-
Weapon is better than Die Hard and RoboCop. So
Is it better than Jurassic Park?
yeah,
Will Lethal Weapon?
you just saw it.
Will Lethal Weapon accept RoboCop being next to it?
I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think so, too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Means the world to have you here. Thanks for being here. Next week, tune in. We jump into maybe our second installment of a musical. Blues
Yeah.
Brothers being a musical, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to discuss Little Shop of Horrors. If you have not seen that movie, consider yourself warned. Get out, find it, watch it. And we're going to follow that up with a Patreon voted episode, Empire Records.
Oh yeah.
I cannot wait.
And if you are new to the podcast, go back this time last year, Dumb and Dumber.
There we go.
One of the funniest
Felton
episodes
Perry.
we've ever done, and one of the highest rated movies we have ever done
Yeah.
on this podcast.
Truth.
You're gonna enjoy it.
It may be the comedy.
It might
but
be.
I'm not sure.
I think it absolutely is. That is so worth a re-listen, guys. Thank you so much for listening along, and I hope you've been watching on YouTube lately, guys. Make sure you're watching along on YouTube, having some fun with us in visual as well as audio. Okay, but also find us on social media at Confused Breakfast anywhere on social media. Just search for Confused Breakfast, and by all means, drop us a review, guys. We love getting those reviews coming on through. 5 stars is much appreciated. If you have the time, of course you have the time. You do it right now. Do it now while Sean talks.
ConfusedBreakfast.com. You can get some merch. You can get some shirts. You can get some buttons, some koozies. You can go to Not Your Father's Beer Shirts and get some koozies, official Steve Koozer koozies. Go to that same website and see the ratings of the movies we've done. See AJ's ratings, see my ratings, see Mike's ratings, and the show overall. Goodbye. I love you.
Support our sponsors. Support us at patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. Get a ton of perks for being a member of that and supporting us. We are produced by the Upload Media Group in Cedar Rapids. We got Craig on the controls. And you can learn more about them, uploadmediagroup.com. And we are also proudly on the Cloud 10 iHeart Podcast Network. Learn more at cloud10.fm. That's it for us.
Your move, creep.
Your move, creep. Goodbye.
There's now trouble. So there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't say it right.